Okay.
But Persian people are great people, you know. I mean, you're living on a street with a lot of Persian Jews that live on Pico.
I was surprised to see different colored Jews. I always saw white Jews.
Right.
And I never see different colored Jews until I moved here.
Right. I would actually say that there's no such thing as a white Jew.
But they look white.
Right. They look white doesn't mean they're white. Like you can have a albino African that looks white doesn't mean he's white. You can have a pale Asian
right.
that doesn't mean he's white. So it's more than skin color.
Should America because there's a lot of talk now about America supporting Israel, and people are saying that the Jews control our government, and that they, even though I don't know if it's true or not, but the Great White Hope, you know what the Great White Hope is, right?
I know what you refer to as the Great White Hope.
That's right. Some people call him amazing. What matter or man is this?
Yeah.
The wind and the sea obeys him. Some people call him king, and they hold rallies around the world for the king. And some people call him daddy, but I call him the Great White Hope. And some people believe that Israel is controlling him, the Great White Hope, and as a result, our government is giving Israel too much money. Do you agree with that?
So people are saying the Jews control anything and everything, and they've been saying this for generations. So
but how about the Great White Hope? Do you believe?
I don't think that the Jews in Israel are controlling Donald Trump, but I am against the U.S. foreign aid to Israel. And I'll explain why. Because it's not cash that America is giving to Israel. It's not we're sending money and then Israel can do whatever they want. It's credit to be used only to buy weapons from U.S. companies, so that money actually recirculates into the U.S. economy, into weapon companies. But then also there's a contract that says if America gives this to Israel, Israel now cannot produce many of its own weapons, cannot sell weapons to any other country but America unless it's authorized, cannot buy weapons from any other countries unless authorized by America, and it makes us controlled by the U.S. Now, I'm for collaboration, support, relations, but I'm against toxic relations. And this wasn't created by Trump. This has existed for a very long time in the relationship between the U.S. and Israel. But I want Israel to be fully independent.
Right
and
on.
if we have a relationship with one another, it's a relation of respect and of mutual benefit, not where one controls the other. So in my opinion, America is in a position to control Israel, not the other way around. Trump has always been very pro-Israel. I mean, even his father was pro-Israel.
Yeah.
His daughter has converted to Judaism. His Jewish granddaughters.
Everybody I know, especially older people,
Yeah.
they support Israel.
Right. So supporting Israel is great, but I don't want to see a toxic relationship on any side. And I would actually agree that the U.S. foreign aid relationship with Israel is a toxic relationship, but one that actually favors America. Now, if Trump is in power and likes Israel, then he's not going to use it against Israel.
Right.
But what about the next president? If the next president is not for Israel, like we've seen Obama and Biden not being so pro-Israel, then all of a sudden we're going to see a shift where Israel is going to be controlled by a country who is a superpower, and it has an ability to dominate it and push it into a corner that we don't want to see. So Israel should be completely independent of U.S. foreign aid.
Oh, good. Right on. Do all the Jews feel this way?
No, they say one Jew, two Jews, three opinions. So you'll have many different opinions that exist amongst the Jewish people.
So what do you say to the whites and then some other racist people, not racist, but race of people who are upset because they think that Israel controlled Donald Trump and our government and that we're just dumping money over there, we're taking care of them? How do you make them feel better? I mean, see the reality of that.
Right, so first of all,
I think you just explained it.
Right, it's factually incorrect that the U.S. is giving money. It's giving credit so that it could use it to buy weapons from U.S. companies. So the money's going directly to the U.S. companies, not to Israel. And it benefits America to do that because now we're dependent on America, and then they can tell us what to do because they control our military and our supplies into our military because we're constantly at war, so we need those supplies. So that actually advantages America, not Israel, and I'm for that relationship to change and to be one that's more beneficial and healthier for both.
Right on. I noticed that in America, and maybe around the world, but in America, not all blacks, but most of the blacks hate the whites, and they blame the white people for their failure in life. And they blame it on slavery, which is not true, or Jim Crow and all that mess. Which is something new that's been going on for the last 70 years or so. And I noticed that they cannot have a life because they're so mad at white people about nothing. They can't function because when you have anger, you can't function. But when I went to Israel, I noticed that the Palestinian, the Allahu Akbar people, they feel the same way about the Jews. I remember going to the city of David. Well, we didn't go in there, but we could look over there. And the city of David was like a beautiful area, beautiful home we used to be. All really nice, and they gave it, I guess, to the Palestinian. And instead of the Palestinian cleaning it up and adding to it and making it beautiful, they are jealous of the Jews. They see and the Jews' area is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And they are jealous of the Jews, and they are blaming the Jews that they don't have a life in the same way the blacks blame the whites. Why do somebody always blame somebody else for their lack of?
I think you can find many similarities when you compare two different peoples, but I think we should separate them for a second. What's happening in America between black-white relations and what's happening between Palestinians and Israelis. And I think, we can go back to the Bible, and the Bible has all the archetype answers of why these things are happening.
Right.
The relationship, if we look at the Palestinians in the Arab and Muslim world with the Jews and Israel, is the same relationship that Isaac has with his brother Ishmael. Ishmael is the father of the Muslims, and Isaac is the father of the Jews, both children of Abraham. And the relationship between Ishmael and Isaac is one where Ishmael is very jealous of Isaac. Isaac's the younger brother, and he all of a sudden is the chosen one, is the one that's supposed to carry the line, and Ishmael has a lot of jealousy. Eventually he gets kicked out. There's a lot of drama that happened between both, but at some point Ishmael does tshuva, which means he repents, he corrects himself, and eventually they reunite. Now, right now we're living in a pre-tshuva Ishmael, meaning before the repentance of Ishmael, Ishmael is acting wild, chopping off heads, acting in a way, conquering people, and we can kind of see that happening with radical Islam. That doesn't represent all of Islam, not all Arabs, not all Muslims, not all Palestinians. But we do see this expression of this radicalism that clearly is a problem that even many Muslims reject and are against, and that is something that has to be worked on and changed, but eventually the Palestinians and Israelis will be able to reunite.
You really think that's going to happen?
Well, do you believe in a world where there will be a Messiah reality where there'll be peace on earth? Right?
I believe that
if that will exist, then of course, then it must be that we correct all the problems.
Well, we're never going to have peace on earth, but what we will have is those who have returned to the Father. They will have peace right here on earth, in spite of the hell that's going on around them through other people, because hell lives in the individual, and the individual is the one that brings hell out into the earth against others and everything. So I believe that, I know that there will never be like peace on earth for everybody, but it will be, and they can have it right now if they wanted it, but you can have perfect peace right here on earth right now, in spite of the hell because hell lives in human beings, and they act it out. And so if you overcome hell yourself, you can have perfect peace right here on earth right now. You don't have to wait, because Christ said it was finished, it was done. And that the kingdom of heaven is inside of us. And if you live from that kingdom, you can have peace right now. And it's so true, I can holler. There are no words to explain. But you can have peace already.
Right, so we have to elevate the world. And a lot of people before the
most
creation...
people don't want it.
Well, let's show them why they do want it.
Most people love their thrills, they love their hell, they love their misery, and they don't want to give it up.
Let's say before the creation of Israel, right? There were a lot of people who told the idea that we should have a right to a land, that was crazy. They're like, there's no way you're going to leave from being killed in the Holocaust and come back into this forsaken land that's not developed, that has a lot of swamps and desert and has enemy populations all around that want to kill. Like, how is that going to happen? And yet, you went to Israel. And you saw how amazing of a place it is.
It was amazing.
Amazing, right?
As a matter of fact, I felt safer in Israel than I did and do in America.
Right.
Whereas I heard before we went over there, oh, be careful. They having a war, you're going to get this. But when I went, I felt safe. I had no fear, I had no worry, I had no concerns.
Right, so my point is that this reality that now exists, that is normal to us because we have access to it, was a crazy idea in the previous generation. And the same way I'm talking to you about a reality where there will be peace on earth, where there will be a reunification between the Israelis and Palestinians, between Islam and Judaism, where we elevate humanity back to where it's supposed to be. Just because we're not there yet doesn't mean we can't get there. And we definitely can't get there if we don't believe we can get there. That's where it starts.
Amazing. So one other quick question about that, and then I have some other questions for you. So you don't believe in